Welcome back. You're watching Beyond World is One. I'm Shivan Chandna. This is Speed News. Let's begin. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said plans for a bilateral meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Zelensky are now underway, and that Putin promised Trump he would have a direct meeting with Zelensky. The statement comes as Kremlin has not yet said whether Putin has signed off on Trump's push to arrange direct talks. Donald Trump made it clear that U.S. troops will not be sent to Ukraine as part of any potential deal to end Russia's war. Trump said this in an interview with Fox News following hours of discussions at the White House with Ukrainian President Zelensky and European leaders. Amid the trade standoff with India, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that Trump increased India's tariffs to 50% as part of sanctions designed to pressure Russia to end the Ukraine war. Earlier, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent accused India of profiteering by reselling Russian oil. North Korea's Kim Yo-jong, the powerful sister of leader Kim Jong-un, said South Korea and its President Lee Jae-myung had a dual personality by talking about wanting to pursue peace while continuing joint military drills with the U.S. Earlier, Kim Jong-un said his country needed to rapidly expand its nuclear armament and called U.S.-South Korea military exercises an obvious expression of their will to provoke war. The Venezuelan government is mobilizing supporters and deploying hundreds of security forces to safeguard the capital, Caracas. And this comes amid reports that the U.S. has deployed 3 Aegis-guided missile destroyers to the waters of Venezuela. The deployment of U.S. destroyers and personnel comes as Trump has pushed for using the U.S. military to thwart cartels he blames for the flow of fentanyl and other illicit drugs for perpetuating violence in some U.S. cities. India's charge d'affaires at the United Nations, Eldos Matthew Punnus, highlighted the sexual violence perpetrated by Pakistan ever since 1971 while delivering India's statement at the UN Security Council open debate on conflict-related sexual violence. Punnus said that sexual crimes against women from minority communities in Pakistan continue even today, which is deplorable. The NCERT has introduced 2 special modules on Operation Sindoor for classes 3 to 12, describing the mission not just as a military operation but a promise to protect peace and honor the lives lost in the Pahalgam terror attack. The modules, which have been introduced as supplementary material in the curriculum, come over 3 months after Operation Sindoor. The modules also state that although Pakistan denied any involvement in the Pahalgam terror attack, it was carried out on direct orders by Pakistan military and political leadership. Panamanian and United States forces conducted joint military exercises exercises were conducted on the 19th of August in Colon province as part of ongoing bilateral security cooperation efforts. The training exercises focused on helicopter evacuation procedures and survival skills, with soldiers practicing rescue operations and humanitarian assistance simulations. Dozens of people gathered on Tuesday in front of the United States General Consulate in Sao Paulo to protest Donald Trump's tariffs on Brazilian imports and support for Israel in its war in the Gaza Strip. The demonstration, organized by local pro-Palestinian and leftist groups, was held under the slogan that read, and I quote, "Trump out of Brazil and Palestine."
Obrigado, companheiros.
The Food and Drug Administration has warned the public not to consume certain frozen shrimp products sold at Walmart due to possible contamination with a radioactive isotope. It said the warning affects the Great Value brand of raw frozen shrimp sold at Superstore, adding that anyone who purchased the products should dispose them off. A statement from the agency said that the FDA was actively investigating reports of contamination in shipping containers and frozen shrimp products shipped from Indonesia. Donald Trump sent a video message to a Ukrainian war veteran who gifted him a golf club delivered by President Volodymyr Zelensky during his visit to Washington. Statement by the Ukrainian leader's office said that Trump accepted the gift and presented Zelensky with symbolic keys to the White House in return.
Шановний пане Трамп, я один із тих солдатів.
China will unveil a slate of new domestically produced military hardware that will showcase its powerful capability to prevail in modern war at a parade next month. The event, marking 80 years since the end of World War II, will see President Xi Jinping inspect troops in Beijing's Tiananmen Square, with his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin and other world leaders expected to attend. The India Meteorological Department issued an orange alert of heavy rains for Mumbai for today and predicted that the intensity of rainfall in the metropolis will go down from Thursday. Rains battered Mumbai, its suburbs and the townships in its metropolitan region on Tuesday, flooding streets that resembled rivers at several places. Commuters faced severe hardship as local train services of the Central Railway were disrupted on its main and harbour lines due to submergence of tracks due to torrential rains. Hurricane Erin, classified as a major hurricane, churned north of the Caribbean. According to the U.S. National Hurricane Center, Hurricane Erin has lost strength but grown in size, and it continues to skirt the Bahamas, edging closer to the U.S. East Coast, where it could trigger dangerous flooding. Death toll from northern Pakistan monsoon floods has risen to almost 400. Torrential monsoon rains lashed Pakistan's commercial capital Karachi on August 19th, causing traffic gridlock and power outages. Authorities said 5.7 inches of rain had fallen in the city and that there could be more urban flooding in Pakistan's south, including Karachi. After 16 days of intense heat and with a record 373,000 hectares of land already scorched across Spain, firefighters and volunteers have been working together to put out wildfires in the northwestern region of Galicia. And this is said to be Spain's worst fire season since records began in 2006, surpassing 2022 when 306,000 hectares were consumed by flames. A dash cam in Kumamoto captured a fireball streaking across Japan's night sky on the 19th of August. The bright object was also seen in other parts of Kyushu and Shikoku, with social media users sharing similar sightings. Experts identified the object as a fireball, a particularly bright type of shooting star created when dust particles or asteroid fragments burn up in the atmosphere. Human remains were discovered in a suspected clandestine grave in Mexico's Jalisco state on the 16th of August by a civilian group searching for missing people. Police, the National Guard and the Jalisco State Prosecutor's Office deployed members to a cemetery in the western Mexican state of Jalisco after the discovery of human remains. The White House has launched an official TikTok account taking advantage of the short video app's more than 170 million US users to spread the messages of President Donald Trump. White House new TikTok account went live with an initial video showing footage of Trump as he declares, and I quote, "I am your voice," with the caption, "America, we are back. What's up, TikTok?" Trump has a soft spot for the popular app, crediting it with helping him gain support among young voters when he defeated Kamala Harris in the November 2024 presidential election. When Trump began his second term as president on the 20th of January earlier this year, he extended the deadline for TikTok to stop its operations in the US to early April. The deadline was extended again to 19th of June and then to September 17th. A 2024 law required TikTok to stop operating in the US by January 19th of this year unless ByteDance had completed divesting the app's US assets or demonstrated significant progress towards a sale. U.S. state Minnesota has sued TikTok, accusing it of exploiting youth with addictive algorithms that harm mental health. According to Attorney General Keith Ellison, the case is not about free speech but about the company's manipulation and failure to protect users. According to the Associated Press, the case stems from a nationwide probe launched in 2022 by a bipartisan coalition of attorneys generals. Ellison said that Minnesota delayed filing until it completed its own investigation. The lawsuit seeks financial penalties of up to $25,000 for each instance in which a Minnesota child accused TikTok, along with a permanent injunction against harmful practices. TikTok has rejected Minnesota's claims. TikTok's spokesperson, Nathaniel Brown, argued that the lawsuit misrepresents the platform's safety measures. Meta has urged a U.S. court to throw out a lawsuit that seeks to hold Instagram responsible for the deadly 2022 Texas school shooting. That is, the company argued there is no evidence that the gunman of the Texas school shooting ever saw firearms posts on his platform, and insisted that none of its policies were violated. Families of the victims sued Meta in Los Angeles in May of 2024, alleging Instagram allowed gun makers to market firearms to minors and failed to enforce its own rules forbidding such advertisements. 19 children, 2 teachers were killed in the May 2022 shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. In one ad posted on Instagram, the Georgia-based gun maker Daniel Defense shows Santa Claus holding an assault rifle. In another post by the same company, a rifle leans against a refrigerator with the caption, "Let's normalize kitchen Daniels." What Daniels do you use to protect your kitchen and home? The lawsuit alleges those posts are marketed towards minors. China's exports of rare earth magnets recovered to hit a 6-month high in July, showing trade flows of the critical minerals key to electric vehicles have returned to levels seen before Beijing imposed export curbs. Exports from the world's largest rare earth magnet supplier rose nearly 75% from June to hit the highest for a single month since January. The continued recovery in exports came after Beijing agreed to a series of deals with the United States and Europe to increase shipments and ease the export control imposed in April in retaliation for U.S. tariffs. Oil prices were little changed in early trade today as investors await the next steps in talks to end Russia's invasion of Ukraine, leaving in place sanctions on Russian crude and the chance of further restrictions on its buyers. Prices settled down more than 1% in the previous session on optimism. A deal to end the war seemed closer, which would mean the easing sanctions on Russia and an increase in global supply. Trump on Monday said that he was arranging a meeting between Russian President Putin and Zelensky to be followed by a trilateral summit along with the 3 leaders. Russia has not confirmed it yet. The US dollar gained for a third straight session as traders awaited the Federal Reserve's annual Jackson Hole Symposium for clues on the path of monetary policy. Friday's speech by Fed Chair Jerome Powell is the market's main focus as traders watch for any pushback against market pricing of a rate reduction next month. Traders now place odds of 84% on such a cut and expect about 54 basis points of reductions by year-end. Powell has said that he is reluctant to cut rates because of expected tariff-driven price pressures this summer. Japan's exports posted the biggest monthly drop in about 4 years in July as the impact of US tariffs intensified and raised concerns about the outlook for the export-reliant economy. Total exports from the world's 4th largest economy dropped 2.6% year-on-year in July in value terms. Despite the plunge in the value of exports, shipment volumes have so far held up as Japanese exporters have avoided major price hikes. Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah was named the Professional Footballers Association Player of the Year, the Egyptian becoming the first player to win the award 3 times. Salah, who joined Liverpool in 2017, was the Premier League's top scorer last season with his 29 goals, playing a key role in the club winning the league title. Arsenal midfielder Mariona Conte was named Women's Player of the Year. The Spaniard scored 9 league goals in her first season with the club, along with 8 goals in the Champions League, where Arsenal beat her former club Barcelona to win.
There you go, enjoy it.
The Alexander Isak and Newcastle United transfer saga has exploded into a civil war. The Swedish striker has said that he can't continue with the Magpies, accusing them of broken promises. The club hits back, denying any agreement to let him leave. Isak skipped the Professional Footballers Association Awards in Manchester despite being nominated for the Men's Player of the Year. Instead, he dropped a bombshell statement, airing his frustration in public with a statement. HBO has revealed the actors who will bring the Weasley family to life in the highly anticipated Harry Potter series reboot. A new photograph shared by the network gives fans their first look at 4 more members of the red-headed family: Fred, George, Percy and Ginny Weasley. The photo shows the newly cast actors in a group selfie, and this announcement comes just a few days after a photo of the new Harry Potter and Hagrid went viral. Onlookers in London captured candid shots of Dominic McLaughlin as Harry and Nick Frost as Hagrid, filming a scene that appears to be the duo's arrival at the Leaky Cauldron. The images sent the internet into a frenzy, with fans debating the casting choices and the series' overall aesthetic.